So as you said, in my 24 years of managing Himalaya Capital, we have gone through several of those big crises. Each time when that happens, it was billed as once in a century crisis. It probably was, except it happens on the time frame of every 5 to 10 years. So the financial market boom and bust has been a constant phenomenon since the beginning of the financial market several hundred years ago. And it was driven by human nature. As long as human nature remained that way, it would never change. It will always be with us. As a product of evolution, we humans are basically run not necessarily in a very rational way. Now, we're very good at rationalization, but we're really not very good at being rational. And so, in a sense, we're governed by some set of hard-coded instincts. And we're looking for a zero sum, and we're looking for fast money, and then you get really totally scared when things go against you. So that's basic sense of greed and fear would always drive the financial market up and down. Particularly when it comes to money, humans are very funny in a sense. They tend to evoke the primal part of human nature. And so particularly relates to financial market, a security market, money, that human tendency of the extreme instincts become more amplified and more extreme. And that's why the financial market from the very beginning has always been characterized by boom and bust, and will remain so. Now, how do you deal with such an environment that will be constant? Well, one way to deal with that is to anticipate that always on the corner at all times. And that's basically our attitude, that financial crisis will happen all the time. People will always be driven by fear, by euphoria, by this extreme kind of up and downs. And so we're looking for businesses that are capable of living through that. And even businesses that could really thrive in that environment, in a sense, have a certain characteristic of anti-fragile. So that up and down becomes somewhat friendly for us, in the sense that when our favorite company is on sale, discounted by 50, 60, 70%. If we have money, we'll buy more of it. If we don't have money, it is a hallmark of a good investor. You can sit through watching your portfolio down by 50% and not being affected at all. On the other hand, other side of the coin is that you're equally unaffected when everybody around you are making fast money, fast and furious, a lot of them. And you're really seemingly totally left behind. And so, and that's really part of the temperament that most people don't have. And that's why not everybody can succeed in this game of investment. And so to succeed in this game, it requires certain temperament and a certain understanding of human nature. Also, a certain commonsensical approach, and knowing that your investment return eventually will mirror the actual business return by actual businesses. And we know in real life, in real businesses, don't really change by day, by hour, by week, by months. It took years for them to really either go up or down. And so you should expect your investment result to come in over slowly, gradually over a long period of time. So the short-term phenomena should not really impact you as much, either on the up or on down. Except in real game of investment, those phenomena, both on the up and down, tend to be quite extreme and testing. And so the other thing that will be very testing is that you really do need to understand the business itself. And if you really try to pretend you understand, and you're really driven by something else other than deep understanding, you'll be tested. And so that's the salient nature of the financial market. I sometimes almost feel that they exist to catch human weaknesses. That if you really don't understand something that you pretend to, you will be busted at some point. But if you truly understand, you will be able to add when the security really down 50, 60, 70%. In terms of younger students, when you started today, so I think a few things will be important. When I talk to young students and people who started out trying to get into the field, I say several things that is important. A, to always adopt a owner's mentality. And so I like to really ask a young student or analyst at our firm basically to imagine that all of a sudden that one of your unknown uncle died and handed over 100% ownership to the company, to you. And that's the business you're going to study. So any company, think starting point that way. And once you really kind of think you owns 100% of it, your mentality is totally different. So you never know that business existed. Now you own 100%. You have no idea how to run it. You don't know the people who run it. What do? You want to know everything. Everything you can possibly get your hands on. And a lot of the things you know, you don't understand. You just know the facts. You don't understand it. But that's okay. You're going to continue to learn until you get a handle of it. And even if then, because of the constant change, you're going to continue to evolve your knowledge of it. Now, if you adopt that mentality, study any businesses, you have really started the process of becoming a real value investor. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you really want to maintain intellectual honesty. And that is very, very, very important. You have to be really honest of what you know, what you assume, what you pretend subconsciously, and what you don't know. And how do you really know that? One of the things that Charlie have talked about that I think make the most sense is he always said that I'm never entitled to have a view until I can find the smartest people on the planet who took the other side of that view. And I can argue better that opposition than he does. And when I can do that, I would be entitled to have a view. Same thing and applies to investing in the sense that intellectual honesty is a good life philosophy to begin with. It is a critical, it is a vital when it comes to investment. Because as I said, the security market always exists to really point it, to find your weaknesses, your dishonesty, your pretension, your wishy-washy knowledges. And if you do not really possess that fundamental attitude of intellectual honesty, you'll be destroyed at some point during your career by the financial market. It was almost designed that way to catch you. And the third thing I would say is that you want to really devote as much time as possible to a study of the history of the businesses and the history of great businessmen in the past. The more you study more companies, the better you are when it comes to judgment on good opportunities and the judgment about the fundamental characteristic of the company you're interested in. And so I say all three things are important: to start with the 100% owner mentality, to continue to train yourself to have a high degree of intellectual honesty, and lastly, to be a thorough student of the history of the businesses. All three things are really going to be very helpful if you are beginning to get into the field of investment, or you want to really improve your game. So